Welcome back to the polls. With us now is Assemblyman Duy Nguyen. Duy, welcome to the polls.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Well, good to have you here with us, Assemblyman.
So give us some landmark of where in Las Vegas is District 8.
District 8 is in the southwest Las Vegas. It's mostly 80% of Enterprise, a little bit of Spring Valley in my district. So the northern boundary is the 215. Going to the west side will be Durango, and then the east side will be the 15, going all the way down to Cactus for the eastern part, and then going down to Blue Diamond on the west side. So it's a very fast-growing district and the largest Asian American, Native Hawaiian, Pacific Islander residents in the state of Nevada.
Interesting, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
For the sake of new voters out there, please tell our viewers a bit about yourself before we dive into the questions.
Well, great. Thank you. Again, my name is Duy Nguyen, and I'm very honored to serve currently as your assemblyman for District 8. And I am a resident here now of Nevada and Las Vegas for 20 years. And I actually immigrated to the United States when I was 11. And my father was one of the boat people in the early 80s that left Vietnam for the search of freedom and opportunity. And I didn't know my dad growing up. I reunited with him here in the United States at the age of 11, and was really taught to do two things: study hard and don't make waves. And those are the characteristic of many immigrant families, where you're trying to go to school, become, anything that you want to become, because in your former country you don't have that opportunity. And so fast forward to my career choices, I have been involved in everything from the telecommunication industry to the nonprofit to healthcare, as well as small business. And I am very proud parents of two wonderful children. One is going on to be 11, the other one's about to be 5. And my wife and I runs a small business here in Henderson, Nevada. And we work pretty much 7 days a week to ensure that we have an opportunity to provide for our children. On one of my day job, I work in the nonprofit sector, serving the Asian community here in Nevada, and fortunate to do that on a daily basis, making impacts to over 400,000 NHPI folks here through services like food security, immigration, healthcare assistance, as well as education. So very, very honored to get to do this work every day, making an impact, and not just waiting for elected office to do it.
You are a freshman assembly member. What were some of the bills you have introduced in the state assembly where you were the sponsor, and what were those about?
Thank you for that. As you may know, the Nevada legislative session meets every other year, so we have 120 days to go through thousands of
you can name 3
legislatures. Yes, it's going to be a very good process for anyone just learning how we make the laws. And I've been educating our community every time I get a chance to talk about how legislature works. So we're up here for 120 days, and we get to learn about all the issues that's facing Nevadans up and down our state. So in my first session in 2023, I was able to successfully, sponsor and co-sponsor 8 different legislation. And 3 that I think stood out the most are, first, I'm very proud of the financial literacy bill, which is Assembly Bill 274. And that bill was to require high school students, before they graduate, to have taken a course in financial literacy. And for us as a immigrant generation, a lot of things were not really taught for us. If you have parents who are working, many jobs, or just like us working 7 days, you don't have the opportunity to teach your children in terms of how to manage their financial life. So the bill that I sponsor and pass and then sign into law by the governor was to truly make sure that we have the basic for our high school students, so that when they are graduating high school and become an adult, they have the tools necessary to manage their financial life. So whether you are 5 or 95, you are managing money and you learning how to use those tools so that you can become successful in life. I think that is something that everyone, all of us, doesn't matter what economic background, what party, you can use your financial literacy so that you can be better. Another bill that I was very proud of is to align all of our workforce development boards in the states. We have 17 counties and essentially 17 different boards to work on economic opportunities and bringing new industry or training into our state and be prepared for those industry itself. Well, before my legislation, those boards were not talking to each other. So everybody exists, but kind of not collaborating. So we streamline that process and make sure that everyone kind of come together and ensure that we create a pathway for better collaboration so that we can move together forward as a state and not, making sure that we're not just doing things on silos. So those are critical for our economic development to be able to do the right things. Another bill that was very helpful too is making sure that we understand that our young people is going through the stage of learning, right, outside of financial literacy. They all want to learn skill set that is helpful for them if they want to go and pursue those skill set after they graduate. So we did a program called work-based learning. So if you are a high school student and you want to go into, let's say you want to become a pastry chef, or you want to become an
aircraft mechanic.
Yes. Those things now, if you're under 18, when you go to a lot of employers, especially the small businesses, there are some liability insurance involved, and they're not able to accomplish that by participate into those kind of skill sets. So the legislation that was passed was able to get the students liability insurance cover so that they can still learn the trade while they're there, and the cost is not passed on to the parents. So now the school district is responsible for those kind of program and make sure that the students have the coverage necessary for them to learn while they're in school. So these are the things that we're preparing our next generation opportunities. All of my legislation is about preparing and ensuring that we have the access to all the opportunities that's out there, so all Nevadans can take a part of it.
Okay. You think our the building of our schools, like units of schools, is commensurate to the rapid development of our residential areas?
Absolutely not. I think it's we're growing leaps and bounds here in Nevada, especially in my district in the Southwest. We have a lot of growth in a very short period of time. So the infrastructure is still trying to keep up. Our schools are getting or already overcrowded. So we definitely need to speed up these schools building.
And it can be done through regulations, right, through the state legislature.
Well, we want to make sure that we collaborate with all of our school district across the state and work together to truly move this needle. We are the fastest growing part of our state, so obviously more attention needs to go through Clark County in terms of building more schools. So yes, I agree with you that the speed has been slow, so we need to speed it up and make sure that we create more access to school for all of children and reduce the overcrowding situation. Yeah.
You know, the background of our schools and the way it was designed by, you know, the same famous rich people back in the 1900s, 1800s, as a way to design schools, not to create thinkers but to breed workers. And that's one of the reasons why I think that financial planning and literacy was never taught in schools in the first place. And you were among the lawmakers, and you're actually the lawmaker who sponsored that financial literacy be taught in schools. So how does it result in being taught in schools?
So right now we are just looking at high school right now, right? So high school is when you're at the point of your life where you're making a lot of decisions, whether you go to college, whether you go to trade school, whether you're going to join the military. There's a lot of options for you, or you're just going to go out and you know, pursue a career right after. So those are individual at a cross point in their life, right? Crossroads. So they have to choose, right? So having financial literacy at the high school level now could create that knowledge so that whatever they choose, they can still set themselves up for success. Now, my next goal for this particular legislation is that it doesn't stop there at high school. You know, next session, I plan to introduce a bill that will also put that in for the college students, right? College student, you're taking general education the first 2 years mostly. And you're taking a variety of courses from English to history to psychology to, you know, statistics, right? But financial literacy should also be in there, because in your first 4 year of college or 2 years of college, you want to be able to have that skills being enhanced. So what you need to learn in high school will also be supplement when you learn in college, because now you're dealing with a different set of problems, right? You're dealing with how to navigate your life as an adult versus when you were learning in high school, it's just theory, right? So now you're dealing with, you know, compound interest, you deal with taxes, you deal with your retirement,
student
and you deal
loans.
with student loans. That's the big one, right? So you need to understand before you sign all those papers that what is going to be the long-term outlook for you. Will you be able to, you know, make the right decisions so that when you graduate, you are not in debt to the level where you cannot buy a house, you cannot buy a car, or you're paying high amount of interest just because of your debt to income ratio. So those are things that we want to be able to continue to teach folks, that whether they're 5-year-old or 95 years old, they are dealing with financial decisions from all walks of life, and we want to make it that it's a standard for us to learn about these things, because we have so much technology, so much innovation now with all these different things. We want to provide everyday people, all of them, with the basic knowledge.
I'm gonna ask you about Assembly Bill 318. Assembly Bill 318 is revising provisions governing certain healthcare providers. What was this bill about?
Well, a lot of things that we get to do in the legislature sometimes is really like big and changing things. Some of these legislation that we also do, it's also cleaning up of certain things. So we have different agencies that come to us. So this particular bill, AB 318, was working with the Board of Medical Examiner, which license all of our medical doctors and some physician assistant, things like that. And I think the board came to me with an ask to be able to help streamline the renewal process. So what we were looking at is part of the bill is every year when the doctor license is renewed, there is currently only a mail process, right? What we did was we now extending that window of renewal so that they can have more time to react to those notifications, as well as modernize it a little bit and add an email component, because you know all of us uses email now on a daily basis, right? Some of us have more than one email accounts, but sometimes we don't check our mail fast enough, right? So the regular postal mail get kind of buried with so many things. So adding the email would also help us to communicate to that doctor that, hey, your license is about to be expiring. You need to go through these steps to get it renewed, so that we keep our healthcare providers and our doctors, compliance, so that they can
Yes.
serve our public and they can take care of the people, which is the primary responsibility for them.
Yes.
Not being, inundated with paperwork that doesn't give them that flexibility.
Correct. I agree with that. Different way of telling them, need to renew your license soon.
Exactly. We want to make it easy for professionals to do business in our state. And that's what we're about. Nevada is that we have a lot of room to grow, and we're fast growing. So we want to make it accessible and easy for people to do business here.
Assemblyman, we are close to the end of our segment. What would you like to tell your voters out there? This is your pitch.
Oh, well, I am very honored to be here. So thank you.
It's my pleasure.
The Filipino American community is the largest AA to HPI community here in Nevada. So it's a very important segment of our state. So I would definitely encourage all of you go out to vote. And if you do live in my district, please vote to re-elect me as your assemblyman for District 8. A lot of the candidates out there talk about what they will do versus what is already happening, and that is something that I'm different from everyone else. I've been in our community for 20 years, and my background has been with the corporate industry, the small business, the nonprofit, as well as community engagement. And in my role as the assemblyman, I get to continue that work and bring it to a bigger level. So those are much more of a experienced person than someone who's is saying that they will do many things once they're elected. I believe that representative of our community should be doing things whether the camera is on them or not, or whether they're on the ballot or not. Those are very consistent characteristic that we look into our leaders, and I have had a good success in the first term in terms of making sure we do common sense legislation, regardless of whether we are one party or another. We're here for Nevadans, and that should be our priorities. We have a lot of negative rhetoric throughout this election cycle, and that should not be what it's about. We have more in common than we are in difference. So we need to collaborate. We need to have people in public office that can truly represent our community and bring people together and not divide them. So I truly, truly appreciate shows like The Polls, as well as, the Buban family here of your public service, and you're doing the work that along with me to be able to move our community forward. We need more representation at the table, and I'm proud to be the first immigrant from the Asian community to be elected to the Nevada legislature, and it's such an honor to get to do this work every day as a parent, as a spouse, as a business owner, as a community members. I wear a lot of hats, but this is my passion, is to be able to make a difference. And I look forward to continue to make that difference. So please reach out to my campaign or my office, and we'll be happy to have that conversation, because it takes all of us, not just me, but takes all of us to move our state forward. And I look forward to have that opportunity once again. So go out and vote. We are very, very lucky to be in a state where we can vote by mail, or we can vote in person. So go ahead and make those decisions, and I hope to get your support. So Duy Nguyen for re-election to Nevada Assembly A. Thank you so much.
We will leave it at that. Assemblyman Duy Nguyen, running for re-election in Assembly District 8, Las Vegas. Thank you for talking to us today.
Thank you so much.